Hi, I'm Dr. Rossbaum Ben with Performance Therapy Group. I'm going to show you stretches for the whole lower body. All right, we're going to start with the calf muscles. I like stretching the calf muscles where you are hanging off a curb or a stair because I often have patients who lean against a wall or a door or something like that, and it just isn't enough force to stretch all of the muscles through there. So I'd much prefer hanging off, and you can kill two birds with one stone and do both at the same time, but it just doesn't put enough stretch on the muscle. So I much prefer one leg at a time where you just let the heel drop down and fully relax. And that just allows you to get a good stretch through the calf, and then you bend your knee just a little bit to stretch a different part of the muscle. But usually, most of it can be stretched with just a straight leg. Next, we want to stretch a little higher up in the thigh is your quadricep, your anterior thigh muscle, the one in front. So you stand against a chair or a wall, something like that, to hold yourself stable, and grab your heel or your foot, depending on how flexible you are, and pull towards your bottom. So once you pull that way, what I want you to do is to contract your glute and pull back just slightly. That part's not critical, but if you want to get a little bit extra stretch, it will put a lot more stretch in the top portion of your thigh there. So that's how you stretch the front of your thigh. To stretch your hamstring, back of your leg, I usually grab a bench or a chair, something like that, and you just kick a leg up on there and keep your knee just slightly bent. This bottom leg, your foot points towards that one. So if I had my legs straight like this, I could stretch this way. I would just stretch my groin and my hamstring. So I want to stretch my hamstring, so I'm going to turn this leg to where it points toward that one. Now, this is going to narrow your center of gravity, so you're going to be a little bit wobbly when you do this. So it's best to hold on to something. So this leg points towards that one, slight bend in the knee. Then all you do is get your pelvis to pour forward. Imagine your pelvis is a bucket, and you want to pour it forward. Now that stretches, puts tension on the hamstring. So just like that. You don't have to lean all the way forward. That just stretches your back and your hamstring, and all we're looking to do right now is stretch the hamstring. So just like that. Next, we want to stretch the adductors. Now, if you're very flexible, you can basically get down in the splits. You're probably not watching this video. So if you want to if you're tight in your adductors, just hold against a wall or a countertop and just try to get your legs as far out as you can. Make sure you're not on a slippery surface. Once you're holding on there, you can just push your hip a little bit, bend one knee, and lean toward that same side. So right now I'm stretching my left adductor, my left groin. And same thing on the opposite side, where you're just stretching the other side. And stretching is really a time spent thing, so meaning just stretch as long as you can. If it's 10 seconds, that's better than nothing. A minute is better than 10 seconds. Usually I stretch for about a minute to 2 minutes on each muscle. So same thing on the other side here where you're stretching your adductor. So stretch both sides to make sure they're equal. The only other thing we want to do is hip flexors and glutes. So we will start with the hip flexors. So you get in a lunge. I'll face you first so that you can see that my body is square to you. That what we want is this back leg, if anything, turned in, but we don't want it necessarily turned out. It's not that it's bad. It just stretches your groin, not your hip flexor as much. So with this foot pointed forward or slightly in, that stretches your hip flexor. So we want to do that where you push your hips forward just like this. If you're not feeling a stretch in the front, then push your hips more forward and certainly hold on to something for balance. And then lean away. That will get a really big stretch in the front of your hip right here and stretch your hip flexors. Okay? The last one is if you want to get a really good stretch for your glutes, you cross your leg over. So again, holding on a countertop or something that's not going to let you fall back. If your leg is really strong, then hold this position where you just do a squat like this, and you'll feel that in this glute. Most people will probably prefer to do it seated. So just like this, where you sit in good posture. I like a nice high seat where you cross this leg over, and then again with your pelvis, you pour the bucket forward where you get in good posture like this. And in this position where your ankle is on your knee, you're going to feel it in the back of your glute and on the side here. If you want a little bit more on the side, you push down like that. You got to be careful because that can put a lot of torque on your knee, so be careful with that. But in this position here, I can pull toward me to feel a little bit more in the bottom, or push down to feel it more on the side. And again, good posture in the back and tilting the pelvis forward like you're pouring a bucket forward. So those are most of the exercises. Those are all the stretches for your lower body. We went through calf, quad, adductor, hamstring, hips, hip flexors. So that's most everything. Thanks for watching the video. Happy stretching.